welcome our beloved viewers to RTD's News English Edition. As usual, we'll begin tonight's news with the major and top highlights. Let's follow. President Ghali inaugurates Gadile Resort Hotel in Tajura, the White City. And on the international scene, 27% increase expected in mild rice production in the Ivory Coast. Those were the major and top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, proceeded this morning to the inauguration of the Gadile Resort Hotel in Tajura, the White City. This four-star hotel, composed of 60 rooms and 2 suites that meet the requirements of international standards, established. The Gadile Resort Hotel is equipped with a marina positioned facing the Gulf of Tajura. Arriving aboard a helicopter, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, accompanied by the Prime Minister, Mr. Abdul Ghadir Kamil Mohammed, were warmly welcomed by the Prefect of Tajura, Mr. Hassan Dabali, as well as the Chief of General Staff of the Armed Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim. A peak of honor of the different army corps was intended for the President during his arrival in Tajura. In the same context, the region of Tajura hosted this morning the inauguration ceremony of the Gadile Resort Hotel under the high patronage of the President of the Republic himself, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh. Upon their arrival at the Gadile Hotel, the President of the Republic and the First Lady, President of the National Union of Jibreen Women, Mrs. Khadra Mahmoud Haid, were warmly welcomed by the Minister of Interior, Mr. Saeed Nuh Hassan, the Prefect of Tajura, Mr. Hassan Dabali, as well as the initiator of the Palm Beach Village Villas project and owner of the Gadile Hotel, Mr. Burhan Mohammed Gadile. The President of the Republic then cut the ribbon that marks the solemn inauguration of the Hotel Gadile Resort. This hotel is an asset and also a real feat thanks to its unique architecture located in a strategic place at the Gulf of Tajura. This jewel hotel is designed with extreme refinement to best meet the expectations of tourist customers. The main added value of this hotel lies in its ability to offer a range of high-quality services to different foreign tourists. This achievement of this new hotel complex is in line with the national policy of attracting foreign investors.
Kasai abuto yu ibulle Mario mabai inni habeyo ada hukiterite mirigi fatole urda kahanoi agata gori wanat ne kasai abuto yu ibulle Mario mabai inni habeyo ada hukiterite mirigi fatole abuni ala maane فإلهنا كابنكو تايسمية أغني على معاني برهنكم بفإلهنا كابنكو تايسمية أبنام كنا هباي قادي ليكي برهانو أبنام كنا هباي قادي ليكي برهانو
رسولا تابلي ورد بالله يسلي قادي ليلا مدو ميقعي بويسلي رسولا تابلي ورد بالله يسلي قادي ليلا يسينبتو ميقعي بويسلي قادي ليلا يسينبتو ميقعي بويسلي
The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, accompanied by the First Lady of the country, Mrs. Khadra Mohammed Haid, went to the room where the inauguration ceremony of the Gadili Resort Hotel was held. In addition to the President of the Republic and the First Lady, the ceremony was attended by the members of the government led by the Prime Minister, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, parliamentarians, representatives of international organizations and diplomatic corps associated to Djibouti, as well as many civilian and military figures. This inauguration of this hotel is intended to offer a service of international standard and has all the amenities and services of qualities. In the interventions pronounced for this occasion, the owner expressed his gratitude for the continuous support of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh. He added that this project is part of the policy to promote tourism and the attraction of private investment in the interior regions, but also the promotion of private investment, the fight against unemployment. This magnificent achievement plays a major role in enhancing the role and economy of the White City, Tajura, in full mutation and resolutely turned to the future. The real estate developer in honor of the Gadili Resort Hotel, Mr. Burhan Mohammed Gadili, expressed in a speech his gratitude to the President of the Republic for his continued support. Let's listen to him.
Je suis très honoré de vous accueillir ce matin
I am very honored to welcome you this morning for the inauguration ceremony of Gadile Resort Hotel. The ceremony has a special meaning since 4 years ago, the first one outside the capital was not an easy task. It is a great satisfaction for me and for all actors who contributed to it, to actors who have contributed to it, to see that this finalized with success. But I must immediately underline that it's not to underline that is the question of slackening the efforts, nor of the sleep on its laurel. The challenge is ahead of us, and it's building this complex, not an end in itself. It's not an end itself. From now on, a long-term task begin. From today begin a long-term task to persuade the hotel challenge. Otherwise, more important challenge is centered on the heart of the tourism business. The objective is indeed the permanent exploitation of the hotel according to the international standards, so that the resources that mobilize are not in vain.
The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, delivered an important speech in which he congratulated the courage and determination of the owner of the hotel, Mr. Burhan Mohammed Gadili. Let's listen to the speech of the President. Your Excellency, the Prime Minister, distinguished members of the government, excellencies, ambassadors, and representatives of international organizations, Mr. Director General of SCOPI, ladies and gentlemen, I am very honored to be with you today to inaugurate this splendid hotel complex built by a native of this beautiful city of Tajura, Mr. Burhan Mohammed Ali Gadili, who realized his dream by carrying out this project testifies to the capacity of our youth to fully participate in the development of our economy. This project is the result of a long work and many sacrifices, and I believe it is our duty to congratulate him for his perseverance in investing again in his region in a hotel complex. After the real estate project Gadili Palm Village, it is for us an example that should be encouraged. The work that we are integrating today is a source of joy and legitimate pride for Djiboutians, and more particularly for the people of Tajura. This project is also a response to the major projects carried out in the recent years in the field of port and land infrastructure by the government in the region of Tajura, and is part of a perspective of opening up and fighting against poverty. It will undoubtedly act as a lever and a dynamic for the economic growth of the region. It represents job opportunities for all the youth of the region.
Il représente des opportunités d'emploi pour toute la jeunesse de la région.
The President of the Republic indicated in his speech that this hotel has a major role to promote tourism and investments in the private sector in the interior regions of the country.
Mesdames et messieurs, il est important de souligner que nos régions regorgent d'énormes potentialités touristiques.
It is important to emphasize that our regions are full of enormous tourist potential. This sector has long faced many constraints related to the lack of private initiative. Today, we see the role that the tourism sector constitutes for the development of the local economy. Through this achievement, this initiative, ladies and gentlemen, throughout history, Tajura, the White City, has played a pioneering role in the development of our country and continues to set an example even today. In this perspective, it is the government's responsibility to support the development of private sector initiatives by further easing procedures, simplifying mechanisms, and removing obstacles to investment.
Je vous remercie.
The President of the Republic, accompanied by the First Lady, have then visited the different rooms and premises of the Gadili Hotel Spring within its 60 rooms located on the north shore of the Gulf of Tajura. This four-star hotel is a luxury tourist establishment composed of rooms with quality equipment, a large cinema room, game rooms, and subterraneous and redefined restaurants, swimming pools, conference rooms, gyms, and other services worthy of a high-end hotel. Gadili Resort Hotel aims to offer a service of international standard and has all the amenities to honor not only its ambitions and serve the tourists, but also to compete with the big regional hotels. This hotel is establishment the first of its kind in the region of the interior of the country, financed by a real estate developer native of Tajura city, who is Mr. Burhan Mohammed Gadili, the initiator of the real estate project of the Villa Palm Village. It aims to promote tourism in the region, highly coveted for its many tourist assets and attracting foreign investors in order to make this region more attractive. Foreign investors in order to make this region a destination of the admirable project also constitutes a real opportunity to stimulate the local economy and contribute to the creation of many jobs for young people. The Embassy of the Republic of Djibouti in Ankara, Turkey informs the families of the students' families in Turkey that we have proceeded today, February 2023, to the repatriation of 21 students registered on the list of volunteers to return to Djibouti with the Qatar Airways flight. The embassy, to this effect, facilitated the registration process at Ankara Airport as well as the immigration procedures with the Turkish authorities for the smooth running of the repatriation operation. We wish them a pleasant stay with their families and relatives. This Tuesday, February 28th, the International Center of Excellence for Preventing and Combating Violent Extremism launched a 3-day workshop on gender-sensitive media coverage to prevent violent extremism in the East and Horn of Africa region. The opening ceremony, presided over by the center's director, Dr. Simon, began with the moment of silence in honor of the victims of the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. The event, held in collaboration with the Swedish International Development Corporation Agency, which is also known in short as SIDA, and the Folk Bernadotte Academy, FBA, brought together media partners, government officials, and representatives from various international organizations, including the U.S. Embassy, the European Union, Turkey, and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD. During this first day of the workshop, various topics were discussed, including an overview of the SIDA-funded project that the ICEPCVE is implementing in collaboration with the FBA, with a focus on media training. The next 2 days of the workshop will feature sessions on the safety of media professionals, the code of ethics for gender-sensitive reporting, the place of social media in gender-sensitive reporting, and best practices and strategies for adopting gender-sensitive approaches in covering stories related to violent extremism. Speaking on behalf of the IGAD Executive Secretary, Mr. Josephat Onyare urged participants to take maximum information and knowledge from the workshop in order to effectively communicate issues related to violent extremism to the world.
For the initiative they've taken to bring this team of experts to build the capacity, and so that then they are able to report to the world what exactly we are doing. On the issue of terrorism, again, this has been assumed to be a main domain But now the narrative is changing. And that's why we are bringing the gender issue in this whole process. So my prayer is that the 3 days you'll be here, you are going to come up with really good measures so that then we are able to make the reports to the rest of the world as it is.
Let's hear some of the speeches made at this event by the officials that were present.
Terrorism and violent extremism constitute major threats for international security and stability, including in the African continent and the Horn of Africa. And this phenomenon cannot be tackled by nations alone. We believe that it requires international cooperation. And as Turkey, which has been combating various terrorist organizations such as PKK, PYD, YPG, Daesh, and FETÖ for many years, has always emphasized the importance of international cooperation for effective fight against terrorism and violent extremism. It is obvious that a lasting solution to terrorism and violent extremism cannot be achieved only through military means. It is therefore important to adopt a comprehensive approach that includes economic and social policies. And as a complementary element of this strategy, the media plays an important role in the formation and shaping of individuals' thoughts, behaviors, and value judgments. In particular, the media can play a role in raising public awareness against radical groups, propaganda tools, and the spread of extreme ideas.
I am very pleased and honored to attend on behalf of the European Union Ambassador the opening ceremony of this regional training event to enhance the capacity of media practitioners in gender-sensitive reporting to counter violent extremism, supported by Sweden, an EU member state currently holding the presidency of the European Council. Countering violent extremism is an essential topic that combines several key priorities for the European Union: peace and security, gender, and transparency. Indeed, the EU has been working together with partners internationally to tackle the root causes of violent extremism by way of a range of funding initiatives aimed at preventing and countering extremism. Over the past 10 years, the EU has supported over 100 actions across the globe through its instrument Contributing to Stability and Peace, ISCP.
Today's information environment is a challenging one, and I applaud each of you for your dedication to your craft. Given that, your attention and contribution to gender-sensitive reporting is important. The workshop will allow you to build a network of professionals to support you as you report on the negative impact of extremists, false narratives, and hate speech on both women.
Dr. Simon, director of the ICEP CVE Center, had the following to say.
In this room, we are gathered as allies. Allies, people who have believed in our collective action to continue challenging and undermining violent extremists and terrorists. And throughout this work within the center, we have worked with all of you. I see our member states here. I see our great partners here. We have worked together. We have walked together, and you have supported us. When I look back, I see the critical movement of networks that we have been able to establish. We are now proud as a center, having strong networks of youth, having strong networks of women, having strong networks of youth, a strong network of civil society, strong network of researchers. And now we are moving in to build another strong movement of media people in the media, both print, social, and mainstream. So really, it's exciting for me to see the progress we have been made. Sometimes we look back and wonder what impact we are making. But perhaps we don't also pause and ask ourselves, can you imagine if all of us were doing nothing? how would it be? Only one narrative would be there.
For his turn, the director of the Multilateral Relations, Mr. Gelle Idris Umar, also made a speech. Let us all hear what he had to say.
First of all, I would like to address and express my gratitude to the IGAD Secretariat as well as to the government of Sweden for funding this workshop, the purpose of which is to share experience and knowledge for better prevention of violence extremism. These 3 days training aims to help journalists and media, especially offline and online media, actively contribute to preventing violence and violent extremism. It's widely acknowledged that in recent years, the use of the internet by extremism as a means of spreading propaganda, raising funds, recruiting members, and communicating with activists has grown dramatically. Extremist groups also use the internet as a virtual boot camp, establishing various forms of online its availability and undertakes to undertake any possible action in the direction of safeguarding and consolidating regional peace and security.
The National Agency for Persons with Disabilities was selected for the first time to participate in the international conference Zero Project held at the United Nations office in Vienna from 22 to 24 February 2023. Focused on the theme of the independent living and political participation in ICT, it was selected in 8th place out of 71 winners, with its project entitled Information System and Management of People with Disabilities. Recall that the previous year, 2022, the AMPH registered 4,466 people with disabilities to access various support services and monitoring provided by the agency through the Mobility Inclusion Card. The Zero Project Conference is an annual gathering on disability inclusion at the United Nations office in Vienna. The students of the SCAE have taken advantage of the fact that they now faced with outdated infrastructure and underdeveloped rail network and congested ports. South Africa plans to mobilize $49 billion over the next 2 years for infrastructure projects. More details with Hinda.
Cote d'Ivoire is forecasting a 27% increase in military rice production in 2023. Production of the cereal is expected to reach 1.4 million tons during this period, compared to the 1.1 million tons produced in 2022. This optimistic forecast will be driven by the growth in the processing capacity of the local industry, supported by the government's national Rice Development Strategy 2020-2030.
The Ivory Coast is forecasting a 27% increase in mild rice production in 2023. Hinda again with the details.
South Africa leads the way in infrastructure integration in Africa, but over the past decade, declining economic growth, fiscal pressure, and government financial support for state-owned enterprises have severely limited the government's ability to invest more in new infrastructure. To serve this trend, the country plans to mobilize 903 million rand, or about $49 billion for infrastructure projects over the next 2 years.
Well, by this, our beloved viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening and take care.